Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the one, the only, welcome to 2026 ERA Sunday Championship, and we're in for an absolute banger after banger after bangers. Round one of the ERA Sunday Championship, Season 17, you heard me right, 17 seasons in. We're going to be blasting around out in the UK at Silverstone and seeing which of the drivers will be able to stand on top as they fight their way through. And we're going to see drivers taking on this 5.8 kilometer circuit, 18 corners that opened in 1948, has hosted the multitude of Grand Prix races. It has been the home of endurance racing. It has been a circuit that has made or broken legends and has been the testing ground to our more modern machinery, whether it be a sports car, whether it be a Formula One. And tonight, here at ERA, we're going to be kicking it off with round one. So with that being said, folks, let's go down to the track and take a look at what we've got, because we're in for a race of note. We're in for some hugely exciting times, and with a multitude of new and returning drivers looking to have some fun. But shout out to everyone out in the grandstand. Ruud Heineke saying hello for the Griffin Sim Racing team. Phenomenal to have them out, as we do have currently Ulrich Diaga in second place. Chris Heineke holds on to first. Cedric Muir down into third place, getting beaten out by Patrick Bowles. And it's great to see the drivers returning in. Now, just to catch everyone up, if it's your first time going and seeing us here at ERA, it's wonderful to have you all here. But at the same time, we want to go and bring you up to speed of who is what. So, with that being said, take a look. Any red border is a gold driver. That means it is your AM for the server, and they are incredibly quick drivers nonetheless, and will be fighting it out. Then later on, we have got our silver borders, which is our platinum, and they're going to be your Pro-Am drivers of server 1, and our diamonds. That white border will be signaling who is the best of the best. We've got two servers running here at ERA, each of them given by their license that you can either upgrade or downgrade depending on your finishing productions. But with our golds currently underway for their 10-minute qualifying, man at the top from Cyber Racing, Aaron Shergill, who is absolutely going and having a bit of fun out there, and Aaron wants to push a little bit harder. Christian Fengler returning in with a challenge to go and walk away with the championship. He was left a little bit with a bitter taste in his mouth after last season, narrowly missing out on some points. He wants to ensure it makes it happen here again. Federico Calgero out on the circuit with Chris Heineke. Richard Verheed all the way out from South Africa. Patrick Bowles along with Ulrich Diaga going and shouting out, as we have got our drivers still putting in. A couple of drivers still needing to get a time on the board. Nick Neville from the likes of Silver Bullet Racing needing to get a time on the board. Hasn't been able to get at time on the board as yet. Biding his time, waiting for these opportune moments. The same as a little bit further down, we've got Lewis Knight and Christoph Rolotsky, who are looking to try and get their times on the board. They managed to do it 2 minutes, but it didn't count. But new name to the top is Ricky Bicola, who is going and looking to fight it out against Diego Matos, who switched out from his Mustang to his Audi. Aaron hoping he can stay in for the fight and really keep his way going. It's absolutely incredible to see everyone, and welcome to everyone out on the virtual grandstands. It has been a hot minute before I've seen all your pretty voices out in the grandstands, and man oh man, it has been a long one. A happy new year, a happy holidays that have come by, and we can't wait to see how season 17 is going to kick off here at ERA, as drivers are on the run to make things to the best of their ability. Now, you would notice on YouTube, we're trying out something new where we're actually broadcasting in short version and we're broadcasting in your normal horizontal version. Now, if we're trying things out, we're going to see how it all works. And for everyone out there that wants to take a look, you're more than welcome to give some feedback, as the vertical version is something for you cell phone lovers out there. Federico Calgero trying to get up on his pace, 0.1 up on his time. Cedric Muir as well. And Christopher Lotsky is currently 0.7 up on his time. Everyone looking to just really dial it in. Christopher Lotsky, the only driver in the gold division yet to put a time on the board, while everyone else is waiting with 1 minute and 36 seconds remaining. It is time to really get going. Bron Cox out on the track, and he is really putting the hammer down to try and see where he can get that little bit of time to Nick Neville. And take a look, the fastest lap time of the race, I've got to go and point out, is a 158.5 set by Ricky Buckler, and Diego Matos with a 158.8. Aaron following him with a 158.9 before Rich Van Heed with 159.2 as his previous time. So the 158 is what you're going to keep an eye out for the top three. Richard is sitting with the 159s, and he's joined by David Young, Christian Fengler, Christopher Lotsky, Chris Heinecker, Lewis Knight, and Ulrich Diaga. Before we get down to the bottom end, it's Calgero, Muir, and Patrick Viles, along with Nick Neville and Bron Cox trying to get their times out on the board. But 36 seconds remain, and we will be switching over to our then moving into the fun part, and that is going to be our Platinums heading out onto the track. So bear that in mind, folks. We are going to see a wild time, and this is going to be a great one. So drivers that we need to keep an eye out over here, definitely Ricky has come in with a show of force. He wants to fight it out. Diego Matos, who is one of the incredible runners early on in the racing, is now looking to try and follow that suit as well. So let's keep an eye on him. Let's see where he can work out here. It's going to be a tough fight indeed to see where they're going to be able to stand at the end of it. And honestly, I think we're in for a royal treat of note with each of the drivers trying to figure out what can they do to really get the power down. What can they do to see where it all goes? But as the time runs out, we now set to release our Platinum drivers out onto the circuit here at Silverstone, and it is going to be a wild one. Another driver to keep an eye out for, changing away from the status quo, Sebastian Luxen. Long term, he has been in the Aston Martin. He's switched things up into the Lamborghini, hoping to catch up to the rest of the pack. Darius is out there for the L&R team. He is currently waiting for his time to go out on the circuit and busy cheering on a couple of his drivers that are in the Pro-Am side of things, likes of Neil Cobalt, who has gone out. Neil all the way out from the USA, and a new name to the grid here in Server 1. Chris Wall, a old name to the grid, and is having a ton of fun out there, looking to really battle it out for the Logistical Nightmare Racing team. Paul Fenter back in the banana colors, looking to have a bit of fun and see where he goes as they battle their way through. Freddie Morelli is some Domingo out on the track as well. Mon Spritzer, Milestone, Flo Scub, Andre Serradio, Arul Jar, along with Daniel Mutsuma out from Japan, keeping with his McLaren. Simon Kusat jumping into the big Bentley to have some fun. And Lucas Collin out in the ERA Mercedes. And after a bit of a season of note where it was highs and lows, he's looking to make it work here tonight. 158.5 to beat, and that is going to be on the cards for each of our Platinum drivers, essentially the Pro-Ams of the ERA community here in Server 1, and these are getting into some of the fastest in the world, folks. And here at ERA, we've not only got just the fastest in the world, we've got coaching sessions, we've got some amazing times for you to go and have some fun, get to learn from these drivers, like Sebastian's sideways moment there, and also go and race within your limits as well for absolutely free here at ERA on Assetto Corsa Competizione. And that is one way to test your mettle when it comes across racing. And a massive welcome to you all. It's going to be an absolutely incredible time. This is round 1 of the ERA Season 17, the first race of 2026, folks. And we're about to see who is going to be able to put themselves on provisional pole. Is it going to still be Ricky at the top, or is Ricky going to get taken down a few notches as we keep an eye? There's a lot of new drivers coming out from the US, from Germany, from all parts of the world, including South Africa, looking to have some fun and duke it out in full flight fashion. And to note, this has been one of the biggest entries that we've had through the seasons in season for Server 1 and Server 2. So it has been growing and growing and growing. And we look forward to keep that going with a sim, well, that's not gonna fall over anytime soon. Domingo puts himself in third place with a 1:58.8 as he's right behind Diego Matos. He's the first one to get time on the board. Andre Sorodio jumps into 6th with a 1:59. Paul Fenter into 11th position at the moment as he waits to get a bit more pace. Cedric Muir trying to get the hammer down. He did 1:59.9. He puts himself into 17th as Lucas Koller goes and kicks him down a few rungs as well, along with Flo Scup out on track, trying to push that a little bit harder and see where is he going to work out during this entire run. And it's going to be a wild one. As you can see, time starting to come in, and we starting to see more and more of our platinum drivers going and pushing that little bit harder, wanting to make it work in their favor. The question is how far can they go before it all falls apart underneath them? And that is always the concerning question for everyone wanting to see what is going to be the top fly. And at the moment, Domingo with 1:58.8 in third place has set the bar for our Platinum division. Andre Sorodio going and finding out there. Very, very throwback to retro colors for the Project Vapor driver. He's in the Audi R8, but if I go and remember correctly, this is the same sort of colors he was running when it was early days in a series called ATK Pro Series, and he also got to drive a BMW in R Factor 2. But very same retro livery, gotta say, absolutely love the throwbacks, but also some of the new ones. Miles Stone going and chucking in with a bit of Red Bull livery for the Emil Fry Racing, hoping to really get the hammer down. Chris out there on circuit with Paul Fenter as well. Lucas Collab and Sebastian Luxon continues on the charge. Just everyone seeing where they can go. Paul Fenter up into third place ahead of long-term rival Domingo. These two throw the kitchen sink, including the hose pipe at them. Sebastian Luxon up into 5th place, but no one's been able to get that 1:58.5 of Ricky Buckler and Diego Matos, who were running up a little bit higher. So it's still the golds that hold all the tough. And let's see who's going to be able to stay in for the race. Sorodio trying his luck, but it's Miles Stone who is 0.3 up on his time, really hammering it down, along with the proper racing Daniel Mutsuma, who is cruising around and is currently looking to be one of the quicker cars. He is 0.7 seconds up on his time, hunting down the sharp end of the field, hoping they can make the impact. Is this going to be enough to jump him out of 27th? And it is right up into 11th position, and done a stellar job there. With 2 minutes and 43 seconds to go, though, who has got just enough in the tank? Rilja out there in the Platinum division. And as a driver, you want to keep an eye on was incredibly quick last season and was incredibly consistent. When bad luck came in, it came in heap loads. But he is a driver that's not afraid to go and fight out at the sharp end of the field. And in that Ferrari 488, and I'm going to take a hot take here, the 488 looking far better than the 296 we got currently by Ferrari. But it's good to see the drivers figuring what they can do. But at the moment, though, Ricky still stands on the top. Diego stands on the top. Then it's Paul Fenter, Domingo, Lucasen, Calgero, Stone, Shergill, Serodio, and Cabal going and running out our field. So Neil Cabal needs to really try and dial up the wick here to get into those 158s. He's done a 159.0. He needs to get into the 58s with the Mustang. The Guardian Angel is really needing to work a little bit harder here. Daniel Mutsuma, 0.3 up on his time. Arul Jar, 0.6. Is this going to be a good one for him? Yes, it is. It drops him into 11th position on the final sprint. 1 minute and 20 seconds left for the drivers in our Platinum to put the hammer down. Kusat Spitzer, Freddie Morelli, all looking at the back of the field and will be behind the gold division. They just couldn't get the pace to work out that little bit further up the road and seeing where they go. So honestly, I think we're in for a really, really great treat here in the world of ERA. And Daniel Mutsuma, just didn't get it across the line. He so tried. He looked at it. He was hunting it, but just couldn't get that last little run down to the line to work out in his flavor. And unfortunately, that cost him time. So as drivers continue on their charge, let's see who's going to be able to get for that final push with the final 30 seconds before we release our Diamond class. And my heavens, we got some big names lurking around in our Diamond class ready to go. And I can't wait to go through the list because, man, there is some proper pace out there. Some that I've been seeing doing the fun series a little bit early on this year as they are building themselves up, racing Porsche Cup cars and BMW M2s, trying to do factory spec racing. Well, you're going to see it all. Domingo sliding out, not going to have a good time here. Neil Cabal, unfortunately, not going to be his luck either. He is off into the weeds. And last of the runners would be Flo Scub, who I don't think has got enough pace underneath him. Last lap time, a 2 minute 0.1. And it's not enough to jump him up the order. He's going to have to be content going and starting behind Patrick Bowles, Nick Neville, and Brom Cox chasing him down. That being said, it is time for our Diamonds, the final 10 minutes. It is going to be Jason Beam out on the track. It's Rafa Souza, who is out in the Nissan GTR. Ruben Heineke from the Griffin Sim Racing team, along with Darius, who is out in the 51 BMW this time around. Christoph Peterson going for a very alternative change. No Ferrari, no Honda NSX. He's jumping into the big, bad Mercedes, and this is your target. He is the multiple-time champion, unshaken, undeterred, and is the one who currently holds all 8 championships in a row, and not a single one has been able to dethrone him. He's gotten close. It's been by a single point, but he's going to have to make it work. Michael Castro down in 35th position. Stephen Milano James a little bit further down. Sean Skitter, along with Mahath Musa, Jason Farmer, and the likes of Ernest Limburgs out on the circuit for the Fear the Bones driver. He is really looking to dial up the wick. This is a driver that I do think needs to get the bit between his teeth, and it will be a future champion. We've seen how close he's been able to get there and take the fight to the likes of Christoph Peterson, and was also the teammate of Christoph Peterson. Now it's his time to make it work. But with the likes of Rafa Souza and Jason Beam, 2 very new names to the grid, along with Michael Castro as well, who's in the Rexy colours, is going to be a hard working run. The Los Pontos Hermanos team coming in with a bit more of a fight this season. Now, we got multiple championships that are running across the season. We have got our class championships, diamond, platinum, gold. We have our team championships, and we have our manufacturer championships as well, that goes and puts things together to see how it all works. And taking a look over to our virtual grandstands, namely down in the pits. Good to see Ruin Heineke went and set houses before he went out on track. We got Paul the Wall Fenter as well, who was just out with the platinums, going and having some fun. Paul, really good run, third place on the grid. But Ricky Buckler and Diego Matos still hold that top spot with their 158.5 and 158.807. Now it's time for the Diamonds to see what they can do to take on the young guns into the run. So, I mean, this is going to be a huge chase. And we are also getting word that the likes of Limburgs is joining up with the logistical Nightmare Racing team, which is absolutely incredible, going and strengthening that side, but he is enjoying himself in the Fear the Bones livery. So, as we get ready to see some hot laps coming in from our Diamonds, there is a lot on the line here, folks. 6 minutes, round 1. You want to maximize the points, and the points work in 2 ways. We have got our points for the likes of going out and fighting, positional for your class. Then we have also got points for the fastest lap. And that is where this 1 point has gone and made it work. Jason Beam putting himself right up to the top in the Garage 59 colors with a 58.3 on his second lap. Darius into third place. Ricky Buckler will be sitting in between these two at the moment. Darius not backing down from the fight, continues on his pace. Maith Musa gets across the line, also in old retro colors for Project Vapor. Gosh, I love it. It's Rafa de Souza and Ernest Limburgs that puts themselves up into the top with 157.7 set by Ernest Limburgs. Rafa de Souza sits with a 158.2. So Rafa Souza needs to see where he can get the hammer down all the way out from Brazil. Christoph Peterson comes across the line. The Mafia, as he's been nicknamed, has got himself cleanly into second with a 57.9, chasing down his fellow teammate of Ernest Limburgs at the moment, Rafa Souza, down into third. Jason Beam trying to put the hammer down. He's 0.2 up on his time. Darius, 0.3 up on his time. Jason Farmer trying to pick up the pace for the Griffin Sim Racing team. And we got to point it out. I mean, it's tradition at this point. There is Antonio Gamble that's busy saying, good luck to the Griffin Sim Racing and good luck to Jason Farmer, my boy, on the way through. You got to do it. It is part of the culture and carries on. The APX GP, Stephen Milano James out there on the circuit. And unfortunately, his livery hasn't quite pulled through. Would love to see it. And the APX car would be rather interesting to go and see if he's joined up with the APX team. Michael Castro goes and lines up in 21st position at the moment and is the last of our platinums that are running. Ruin Heineke consides himself to 23rd position at the moment and seeing where he can go. Ernest Limburgs along with Christoph Peterson. Jason Beam trying to give it a little bit of a run, and Christoph Peterson just mowing the lawn at this point, not able to keep it on circuit, and that is going to cost him a severe amount of time. Jason Beam's going to say thank you very much. No getting held up at all as Jason Farmer tries to give it everything he's got as well. So lots and lots of pace coming in. And we have still got so much here at Evolution Racing Academy, especially for round 1 of our ERA Sunday Championship Season 17. And with the added mix of trying out vertical viewing and horizontal viewing, we're going to be modifying, we're going to be creating, going to see what we can do to help get this out there a little bit more, make it easier for mom and dad who are on their phones or tablets, or for those that are real big fans of looking at vertical media on TikTok. We're going to try and figure out a plan just for you. So, that being said, Jason Farmer, 0.2 up on his time. Limburgs parks it in the pits. Christoph Peterson trying to get a little bit more of a run, but Jason Beam 0.1 up. He did a 1:58.0 on his last lap. If he can really dial up the wick here, he will be able to get into the 57s, and if he can knock it down by 0.3, he will be able to get right underneath Christoph Peterson and get that second place well enough away from him. But Rafa Sosa over here will be on the same mission as well. He needs to just put that little foot in and go to make it work out in his favor and see how he's going to work. A great showing from the drivers, our newer drivers who have gone in, absolutely thrown hammer and tongs, and they've set their mark in qualifying of not to be messed around with. Ricky Bucker going and finding out with Diego Matos. It's just fantastic to see the two of them were holding first place for so long before they were getting dethroned by our diamond drivers, which is our faster of the drivers. And the only way you used to earn that is you have to go through grading, you have to go through the races and earn your stripes. Rafa Sosa did a 1:58.1 on that last lap, and that's going to maintain him in 4th place. Beam yet to come around and get a solid run in for his time. So is he going to have enough? Hard braking in through the left hand, into the right, feed the throttle through, keep your foot now on the gas through the right hand. You don't want to lift too much, you want to go a little bit wide, coming across the line as Jason Beam, not backing out of the fight, really swings it in, hoping to get as much pace as possible. Under braking, hoiks the car in, currently 0.1 up on his time. Everyone else a little bit down. Michael Castro is currently 0.1 up on his time, and he's not going to be backing down for Los Pantos Hermanos team. The 3 Ducks have continued once again to try and take the fight, this time pulling in a little bit of Jurassic era or Cretaceous era. Got to get my eras right, especially when it comes to the world of dinosaurs. Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble. But Castro hoping to make it work out in his favor. Christoph Peterson crosses the line. 3rd place is all he's going to get. Sean Darius 5th and 6th, as Jason Beam can only hold on to 2nd. Castro comes across the line and it will be stuck in 11th position. Rafa Sosa down in 4th, a 1:58.1. Can he get that a little bit quicker? Can he dig deep? Can he push himself that little bit further up the road? He's got to give it everything. He's got it really standing on the gas. And unfortunately, not enough. He will hold on to 4th place. So Ernest Limburgs will be standing on the top. So that being said, folks, our qualifying is done and we will be moving into our first race of the season, our first race here in ERA Sunday Championship for 2026. And it's going to come down to a monster fight at Silverstone. And not to take away from Silverstone, that was opened in 1948. Its 18 corners will keep you in the tights and twisties, but it is a long flowing circuit that is 5.89 kilometers long, nearly 6 kilometers long. And these drivers are going to be going around it for 1 hour. The track temperature is 40 degrees with the surface, well, the air temperature is sitting at 30 degrees. We're not expecting any rain forecast for today, but we are expecting temperatures to peak up a little bit and tires to drop off. There is going to be mandatory pit stops that the drivers are going to have to serve during the course of their race, and that is going to be one to keep an eye out, because it really goes and forces you to think outside the box of when you're going to be able to do it, and it sets up to what we call success penalties that come later in the season. The better you do, the 1st place, 2nd place, and 3rd place will each receive 15 second, 10 second, and a 5-second success penalty for round 2 in each of their individual classes. And that is going to play its part into the racing and to see who is going to be able to fight their way through. This is going to be wild. This is going to be exciting. This is ERA Sunday Championship, and drivers are ready to rock, roll, rumble, to battle, to fight, to go, and to give it everything they got to fight for the victory here in round 1. And with that being said, we're going to go down to the racetrack and pick up on our grid as it's getting ready to battle it out nonetheless. And this is going to be a great run, folks. Don't count out a single mandatory pit stop is what's needed to really throw the cats amongst the pigeons here, especially at Silverstone, with such an incredible high-skilled grip and high-skilled environment. And we have got 40 cars lined up on the line getting ready to go. 40 of the world's best. Majority of the continents are represented right here on this grid and making it a world championship of note for the likes of ERA, which is absolutely incredible. But we are expecting many difficult moments, especially off the top. So, going through who's joining me in the box here, my name is Stephen Koenig, and I will be your voice for the ERA Sunday Championship Server 1. On cameras, we have got Tim, who is an absolute legend. He's currently in the helicopter, as you can hear, giving us a great shot on the way down. We do have Jim, who you will listen to as well, calling out green flags and yellow flags and when each of the stuff is done. So keep an eye out for them. They will be talking throughout this sim and this race, giving you some ideas, giving you some of the best shots, and getting some of those right into the action. So, that being said, we line up, we get ready, and we look alive, ladies and gentlemen, for our first race of the season. And are you ready to get pumped up? Are you ready to have your Sunday completely become unhinged? Are you ready to experience pure adrenaline, pure fire, pure rubber grip, pure drama, highs, lows, and everything in between? We have got it all here lined up on the grid for the first round of the championship around the legendary, the only Silverstone, and this track that is built to go and keep people on their feet. Fast corners and tight complexes means that you have to really think about what you're going to do. And the skill level on drivers here in Server 1 is intense. We do have our Server 2 going out as well, and we do invite you to take a look at them. And it's going to be a great run. Nonetheless, as drivers will have to think about what's the next step in moving forward through the order. So, we hold and wait. 30 seconds. Cars up on the jacks. Last minute works on the cars to get the fueling right, to get the tires right, to get the pressures right. It is 40 degrees track temperature. It is absolutely blistering out there. You can cook an egg on that line, and the drivers are getting themselves hydrated and ready as the countdown starts. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you may roll off the line and start your formation lap. And the one who's going to be holding it at the top is going to be Ernest Limburgs, who starts out from first place. Jason Beam in second place, along with Christoph Peterson in third. Rafa Souza will lock out in fourth place. Sean Skitter, followed by Darius in sixth, along with Jason Farmer. Stephen Milano James, Mahath Musa, Ricky Buckler will be starting out first of our gold division. He's got Michael Castro lining up with him. And a little bit further down, Diego Matos second. of our gold division. Moving on to first of our platinums, it is going to be Paul Fenter with the likes of Issam Domingo. Sebastian Lucasen a little bit further down has to deal with Federico Calgero, Miles Stone, Aaron Shergill, Shergill. Apologies, I'm just got to get that one right. Andre Sorodio, along with Neil Kerbal, who is going to be out there. So Neil Kerbal, Rul Ja, Chris Wall, Rin Heineke, Daniel Mutsuma, Richard Frenheed, along with David Young, Christian Fingler, along with Christoph Rolotzi, Chris Heineke, Lewis Knight, Ulrich Diaga, Simon Cussat, Martin Spritzer, Cedric Muir, Freddie Morelli, Lucas Collab, Patrick Bars, along with Flo Scub, Nick Neville, and Bron Cox starting at the back for the Stunt Possum Racing team. So those drivers making themselves, getting them all ready to go for the ERA Sunday Championship, folks. All eyes go to the front. Ernest Limburgs and Jason Beam, for the very first time on an ERA Sunday Championship, will be squaring off. This is going to be interesting because now who has got the jump on one another? Who knows each other just that little bit more and where they can push to get the ultimate game? This is always the concerning factor for many, many drivers on where exactly can they stand at the top. And we're coming to you live here on YouTube on the ERA channel in both vertical and horizontal as we're trying out all the new things to get you out there in the world of sim racing and get to see some incredible talent as they look to battle it out. So honestly, we're in for a treat of note. Limburgs and Beam making their way through. Peterson and Rafa Sosa going and making a little bit more room behind. Sean Skitter hangs on for 5th place at the moment as they bide their time, waiting to come to the line. Ricky Buckler going and really going and bringing himself to the top. And Ricky from the Fun Neville Racing will be going and seeing what he can do to stay at the top, considering he's fighting amongst the diamond class and has got 2 places of protection before Diego Matos is on his tail. Paul Fenter and Issam Domingo, they're going to be a little bit scratching their heads on what they need to do, seeing how the gold drivers came, shown them how it's done, and now looking to continue the fight and see who launches their way through as they line up. So going double file, 70 kilometers an hour. They will wait for the lights. You cannot jump the start. You'll see that the speedo starts to keep in the red. If you're too high, drop it into the green. You're fine. 70 kilometers an hour. Who's going to get the launch off the line for round 1? This is Silverstone. This is round 1. This is ERA Sunday Championship. And we got Now's Worth Racing in 3, 2, 1. Green flag, and we are racing, folks. It's Ernest Limburgs out in the front with Christoph Peterson tacking in behind. Rafa Souza up into 3rd. Jason down into 4th as it's all going sideways. Darius getting past the likes of Stephen Milano James, who tries to hunt him down. Sean Skitter, defense on the inside. Jason Farmer, Maith Musa, Ricky Buckler. Paul Fenter continues to hold on. Issa Domingo doing everything he can, and he had Andre Sorodio busy hunting down in the back. But it looks to be quite a clean run for now, with some argy-bargy moments that happened during the course of the start. We'll try and go back to that a little bit later on. Michael Castro and Diego Matos up on the inside. Matos not wanting to lose any drive at the moment, knowing that Sebastian Lucasen's right there. But Castro's going to really make him work for the corners. Tries to hold up the apex. Oh, and it went a little too slow. Got caught out 3 wide. Oh, this is not going to work, Flo, as it's got to be Sebastian Lucasen getting caught out. Milestone around the outside. Oh, and it's all gone sideways for Matos. It is all twisted round. Sebastian Lucasen caught in it as well. And it does look like There is a couple of other drivers, Sebastian Lucas and Andre Sorodio, all getting caught out into that mess. Wide step of an accident. Let's quickly try and take a look, and there's the twist. Luxon getting bumped. Matos, unfortunately, got himself twisted up. Heineke got a little bit of damage early on in the race, and there is another car off. Is Domingo, who landed up into the weeds during the course of this absolute debacle that has gone on. But that is just not it, as we got plenty more coming in for a couple of problems. And well, let's go to the number 30 car. This is Christian Fengler trying to make his way through. Rich van Heerd, ooh, a little bit of contact between the two, and Richard running out a little bit wide. Oof, my heavens, we did see one of the BMWs getting sent into oblivion, and there's plenty more going wrong in the back as drivers frantic all over the show. And my oh my, it has become so unglued early on. Innocent leads out the pack with Christoph Peterson and Raf right behind him, doing everything he can. Darius and Jason Beam trying to keep up to the trade. Michael Castro on Sean Skitter as they try and figure out where they can get a little bit of pace underneath them. And Neil Cabal hoping to try and carry the drive up against Miles Stone, a fellow American ahead of him. Christian Fengler needing to try and work his way through. He's gotten past Rule Jar, and now Richard van Heerd is going to be trying to come back at him from the Project Vapor side. And it's going to be late on the anchors, trying to send it in on the inside. Couldn't quite get it to work there. Get a little bit of argy-bargy against the back of a Royal Jar. That's caused Martin Spritzer to get caught up with Simon Kussat. Takes the advantage down the inside. And Paul, is that Chris Wall? It is. It's Chris Wall who has come to a stop. The number 4 stopped out on circuit, and we're not quite sure why. So what was going on with Chris Wall? Slings it around, trying to bring himself back. And we jump on the helmet. He just stops it dead. Stops it dead. Puts it out of gear, and that is him out of the race. So Chris Wall, whatever's gone on, has now gone and thrown him into the pits and possibly out of this race. Off the start of the oh man, that's not how you want to start the championship. And I really just plea out to the Logistical Nightmare Racing team to get that Aston Martin sorted out, whatever it is, to get Chris Wall back out on the circuit. Not a way you want to start your season, with an absolute DNF right off the bat. Lewis Knight having to be chased down by Chris Heineke, who had a beautiful sideways moment. And that's allowed Nick Neville to come at him around the outside. Going to hold the apex in through Maggots and Beckett. Gets the pass done, and Heineke had to go and try and pull the car straight. Loses out to Sebastian Luxon and Aaron Shergill at the moment. And Ulrich de Jager, who has gone venturing off, landed into the weeds. So Ulrich de Jager not having an easy time. The 575 car getting twisted around. Let's quickly take a look. Maggots, Beckett. Oh, cut the entire course there. Don't worry, the apex will be there when you come back next time. Turns it in, gets the drive, and that is all she wrote in terms of grip. And after you've gone and just cut the course quite a bit early on, he's now trying to play a little bit of catch-up to the rest of the pack. Back up towards the front, though, it's Darius and Jason Beam having a go at one another. Ricky Beckler currently holds out the top of the gold division, with Paul Fenter holding out the top of the platinum, and Ernest Lindbergs holds on to the fastest lap time of the race and holds on to the diamond division lead. That is Isam Domingo, the 31, twisted around and in the weeds. Let's quickly take a look at what happens here. So Isam Domingo hoping to get the drive. And just at the rear, kick out underneath him, spun it round, brought it back, snap, snap, snap.
Didn't understand that.
And that is where it all came to a halt, and he is in pit lane with a tow. So not an ideal circumstance for him, and will be throwing down the order as we do have contact. Christian Fingler along with Sean Skitter having a bit of an argy-bargy moment, and take a look at Christian's car. That BMW is definitely not the new Evo version with new air compartments. Well, this one, the new aerodynamics have been set out by Sean Skitter, I would believe, on their contact. Let's quickly take a look at what happened. So here's Christian Fingler keeping himself going, trying to see where Sean Skitter is. And looks like Sean Skitter might have been a bit further up the road. Yes, he is parked dead, and oh man, just that understeer came in. Skitter lost the car, was parked in the road, couldn't reverse back, and unfortunately landed up with Christian Fingler taking a monster hit to his nose. And that's Paul Fenter off. Paul Fenter in the 420 who was leading. Did he cave to the pressure? Did he fall apart at the last? Did he have his final bourbon? Well, we're going to have to take a look here. Over the dirt, gets unsettled. Oh, Aston Martin goes wild, slides it in. Contact with the wall. Unfortunately, not in his favor. And looks like the car is reasonably okay, but he is definitely going to be muttering under his breath. But has handed over the lead of the race in the Platinum to Miles Stone, who has got Neil Cabal on the back of him, who is going to be hunting him down. The two Americans not going to be backing off at the moment. And third place of our Platinum is Daniel Mutsuma, followed by Simon Kussat, then Paul Fenter, who's making up a bit of time. Ricky holds on to the top of the gold division and is pushing to get onto the back of Mahath Musa. Ricky, who is a gold driver, I think is going to be promoted in the very, very near future as he's hunting down the pros. He's hunting down the diamond drivers and giving them absolutely everything. And wow, oh wow, that is an incredible run. But we are getting reports down from the grid, and it is from the likes of Chris, who unfortunately had to retire his Aston Martin. We saw him pull him off and come to a stop, saying unfortunately it was mechanical failure, and that baked him out of the race. I mean, that is an absolute gut-wrenching blow to know that a mechanical failure has taken him out of the running. Christian Fingler through the dirt, unfortunately going caught out. Aaron cutting off a nose of Chris Heineke a little bit there, and Andre Sorodio along with David Young trying to make up some time. Freddie Morelli as well. Christian Fingler losing a little bit of pace, now has Brom Cox all over the back of him. Stunt Possum Racing not backing down, going to try and clear on by. Now I think Christian hasn't got enough just to fight it out. He's going to be absolutely hurting at the moment. Let's talk about pit stops, as we did bring up there is one mandatory pit stop, and there is a couple of drivers there doing so. Patrick Bells currently holds on to needing a pit stop after being through the pits. Stopped, but I think it was only a change of tires, or he was parked wrong in the box, and that is gone and wiped him out of that running. Sean Skitter now leaves the pit box. He has completed his pit box. Cedric Muir, who keeps on going, and Lucas Kolab as well. Diego Matos, Ruben Heineke, and Christoph Rolotsky are the bunch that have done their first pit stop, and their mandatory pit stop is now complete. So let's see how the rest of the grid are going to feel about this, as they're going to keep a very close eye to the pit stop drivers, the likes of Cedric Muir, and see where exactly does he come out through the order. As we see Lewis Knight and Nick Neville, they trying to keep each other company. Michael Castro, Miles Stone, and Neil Cabal hunting each other down, with Miles Stone getting fouled up quite a bit. He's off circuit, he's gone, he's into the shadow realm, he's back, and he has lost out the position. Here comes Neil, he swings the nose in. That big Mustang fights the Los Pantos Hermanos, a little bit of bargy, a little bit of sharing paint, then no harm, no foul for the Los Pantos Hermanos. But now it is going to be the Guardian Angel to see if he can outdo the Goose. So as Rexy being guided along at the moment, Neil defensive down the centre to hold back Milestone and seeing whether he can clear some pathway to move forward. And you can see on the right, on the back, is Milestone. The Emil Fry Racing in the Red Bull colours hunts down, gets in the tow, bump troughs, gets going, gonna send towards the inside line, doesn't quite have the top end. That Ferrari, despite a turbocharged V6 and is a little bit lighter, BOP has not been its friend, and the Mustang just can't get away through the corners, but has just enough to carry the momentum through the straights. Absolutely great racing right off the back. And yes, there has been some argy-bargy moments, but with 38 cars still circulating, 2 cars unfortunately out of the race, one of them being Isam Domingo, the next being the likes of Chris, unfortunately going and running into mechanical failure and had to retire the car. 38 cars, 40 started. We've still got plenty more racing to go. Jason Farmer getting hunted down by Stephen Milano James, who is giving it everything he can. And Stephen for the Apex GP is really doing everything he can. Apex GP, that is the same name as the F1 movie, if I'm correct. I've never seen the F1 movie. I'm taking a shot in the dark there. But it sounds to be the same during that fact. Unfortunately, we got the stealth colors at this point, and they are currently just running in those stealth colors. Neil, Miles, and take a look at Daniel Mutsuma getting the inside of Colgero, getting the pass done. Federico says thank you very much. A little bit of a leaning on one another situation there, but they kept going. Chris Haneke onto the back of Andres Rodio, along with David Young, has got Freddie Morelli having a go at him. Freddie not going to be holding back as Chris Haneke swings the curl through the Nissan GTR, trying to make up some time. And we got a bit of contact. That is Neil, who is landed into the dirt. Milestone slowing up. He's trying to give a position back, and he does, but he's lost out the time. Neil gets past Miles, and there goes the rest of the field. Sean Skitter gets a lap back on himself over Milestone, but right behind him is Christian Fengler, who's not the concern, but it is a certain McLaren that's going to be hunting him down right now. And Daniel Mutsuma is keeping the pressure on, looking to see how he can get the drive through to get the pace. Christian Fengler getting a little bit sideways moment. Sean Skitter trying to get on by as he is looking to try and get past Cedric Muir, who walks him to the fringe of the circuit. Hard braking on his part, and Cedric, who has completely missed the chicane, rejoins, and a little bit of a shocking rejoin. It's gone all hams. It's gone wild. Sean Skitter back in the middle of the circuit, PTSD, and he just sees cars. Reverse. That's what's needed. Hit the reverse. Oh gosh, it was just manic at the... What a moment on their part. And let's see if we can quiet and go on board and see what he saw. Oh, jingos, there was the Ferrari out the corner of your eye and stopped staring at the field. Left it in first gear, foot on the brake, waiting for it, not engaging any gear. He is just hoping that he does not get impact. He does turn round. Fortunate enough, there's a little bit of room to do so. But man, oh man, that got very, very wild. And once again, landed up with Sean Skitter smack bang in the middle of the road. Ernest Limburgs loses out to Christoph Peterson. While we're talking about all that chaos, it is now Peterson up into the lead. And it is going to be Limburgs who's having a go at him. But Rafa Sosa on the back, the Brazilian, not going to be holding down. He launches his nose in towards the corner. Couldn't quite get the pass. Waits and bides his time. But he is pushing to get it done. Darius with Jason Beam and Jason Farmer on the back of him. It is DJ J that is going and running. And so far, Darius ahead of Jason Beam and Jason Farmer, who fight it out currently for 4th, 5th, and 6th, while leaders are starting to open up the gap, with Christoph Peterson now in a little bit of free air to keep going. I do want to go and take a look, as it is likes of Kamal, Daniel Mutsuma, and Milestone who holds on to the top 3 in our Platinum division. It is Ricky Buckler along with Rich Van Heed and Federico Calgero that hold on to the top 3 for our Gold division here in Server 1 for round 1 of the championship here at Silverstone. It is still a very long race with a mandatory pit stop in effect as well. And here's one of the cars pulling in. Ulrich de Jager and Chris Heineke into pit lane, getting their car sorted out. Patrick, who is going to keep on going, hasn't done a pit stop that has been recognized as yet. He has visited the pits, but he hasn't done a pit stop that our admin, or the sim itself, has said we're happy with that pit stop. So he is going to be really kicking himself on that run, needing to do it yet another stop. Rich Van Heed looking around the outside. Can he get the momentum? Late to the break, swings out wide. Try and see where he can get past Simon Kussat, the big Bentley, going and ensuring that it is going to be, it's the Queen's right to take up the entirety of the circuit to ensure that it keeps going. Milestone keeps a hard push on Daniel Mutsuma. The Proper Racing Yorkshire T car is keeping ahead of the Red Bull Racing Verstappen.com colours of Emil Fry Racing Milestone, and really doing everything he can to try and break Daniel Mutsuma's concentration as they continue on their charge. Unfortunately, losing a little bit of time to Neil Cabal and the likes of Michael Castro, who run a bit further up the road. Neil getting all the slipstream that's helping him out at the moment. He's going to be more than happy. Paul Fenter into pit lane to get his pit stop done and dusted. 41 minutes left in this race. An hour worth of racing in extremely hot conditions. It has not cooled down out on the circuit. Drivers are still hunting to try and figure out where exactly can they pick up the pace, where can they find the grip necessary to stay in for the fight as well, especially when you're close to your competitors like what we're watching here, the trio of Darius, Jason Beam and Jason Farmer, who are all over the back of one another, constantly going and pushing as hard as they can. As we take a look off Darius's car, this is off the rear wing, and you can see, oh, a big look on the inside. Can the Aston Martin of Beam get it? No, he couldn't, but he tried, and Jason Farmer is now going to have a hunt for it. The Polar Simon cheating Lakes car, Garage 59, now has got the Griffin Sim Racing team driver Jason Farmer looking up on the inside, not able to clear on past, and will be biding his time as he makes his way around the circuit. So it's just another long race for them at the moment to see who is going to be fighting their way to the top and who is going to be able to keep going. But I am taking a look here. There's a possibility we may have just lost a driver. We up to 37 drivers, so yep, we most certainly have lost 3 drivers out of this race thus far, and unfortunately they won't be scoring any points for their championships and going to be thinking about it. Now, interesting take of those who have done the pit stops. Paul Fenter leads out all the drivers that have done the pit stop. He is the second of his division that has done a pit stop and is now trying to run in clear air, where the likes of Ulrich de Jager is the first one of his division, and he has got a little bit of pressure from Chris Heineke, 6 seconds back from him, but has done his pit stop, and they're starting to make up a lot of time here. Drivers are going to be looking back to it, talking to their crew and saying, hey, listen, what's going on? What are we thinking here? What's the game plan? Because we got to really dial up the wick to find out where we're going to go here and what's going to happen. Taking a look, possibility that we may have just lost Milestone as well as there's Federico Calgero out at circuit, but Nick Neville, Andre Sorodio, and we have lost Miles Stone. He has disconnected and had a bit of system error. Hopefully they can get that car back out on track to see the end of Heat 1. 38 minutes to go. There isn't any reason to miss out on it, but it's going to be a difficult fight nonetheless for every single one of our drivers to really put the hammer down to see where they're all going to play out. Aaron Shergill onto the back of Lewis Knight for 17th and 18th position respectively, and are continuing to push harder and harder against one another to see where exactly they will end up during the course of this race. It is still going to be a wild moment from any of them as our sim racing here at Silverstone continues. The ERA Sunday Championship, which has gotten the whole world. Oh, Aaron gets it all out of shape and loses out a lot of time. Nick says thank you. He's going to have a go at it. But Jason Farmer, Michael Castro into pit lane. They are getting themselves sorted out. And we also see Aaron's dived into the pit. So pit stops are now becoming a crucial factor for many of the drivers. And with those thinking, hey, listen, I'm going to get myself into the pits. I'm not going to worry about the trouble. I want to get in clear air and keep racing for others that are in for the fight right at the top. This is crucial information, as Jason Farmer was one that was running in the top 5, has now gone into the pits to get his pit stop completed, and depending on when he comes out, he may actually have the opportunity to get into the fight. So he is ahead of the likes of Castro, who cruises up. So Jason Farmer took the early approach, and this is going to be an interesting run as he's running 23rd. Every single car ahead of him now is yet to pull in the pits, but every single car ahead of him is fighting for on-track position, so they're not going to make it easy for him. You might be on a different strategy, but you might not be the one that has it all on the cards. You have to keep an eye on that. You're going to have to think a little bit outside the box of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, where you're going to stand on the throttle, how much movement can you actually get to stand on the top. And we all got reports that it's Federico Calgero, the Cyber Racing, unfortunately twisted around, waiting for the field to come on by. The number 50 not having fun and had a little bit of a whoopsie-daisy moment. Let's go to our helicopter in our helicopter, giving us a bit of a outside look here on what happened to the McLaren. A little bit squirrely coming out of the hairpin. Oh, contact from Cedric Muir, gets it twisted around. Cedric slows down. Sebastian Luxon comes around him, and that is just not a place you want to be. Unfortunately, that little tap on the rear has cost him tremendously. Darius Peterson, Sebastian Lucasen, Nick Neville, David Young all dive into the pits. That means the lead's been handed back over to Ernest Lindbergs, who's out in first. Rafa Souza is currently sitting in second. Jason Beam in third, will be cruising around. Ricky Beckler is still yet to pull into the pits. He is leading out our gold division, and he is being chased down by first of the platinum, Neil Cabal, along with Daniel Mutsuma and Simon Kussat. Second is Richard van Heerd in the gold division, who is making up a bit of time with Lewis Knight trying to hunt his way through. But what a move coming in, and it looks like for Peterson it was a react to what Jason Farmer had a little bit earlier on. Flo Skup joins up behind him. Darius, then Jason Farmer into 20th position. He just wasn't close enough to make the overtake on Darius and Peterson to make it count in his favor. But let's see if he can beat them with outright pace. So the overcut for Peterson worked well, but now has the undercut worked against Ernest Lindbergs, who is now stretching open the gap that little bit more. With a 1:58.6, he holds the fastest lap, which means that he is going to be scoring some big points in his favor. So each of the drivers thinking, what can they do to really dial up the wick here? How far can they go? Where is the breaking point for every single one of these drivers as they battle their way through in monumental driving? This is going to be wild. Bromcox, unfortunately, visiting the dirt, is not going to be happy with that one. Neil Kamal into the pits, Daniel Mutsuma into the pits, Lewis Knight, Ricky Beckler all into the pits, and Brom just missing out the corner, trying to put himself back together after an absolute fallover. Darius stuck on the outside trying to get around Flo Scub, and it is going to be all quacks for Flo, going to really force the likes of Darius the long way around. You're gonna hurt for it, buddy. But Darius makes it work and continues on the drive. Now going and pulling Flo that little bit more. Flo yet to do a pit stop though, is now going to be utilizing the drive, as we do have the number 13 that was parked off into the weeds, and that's Sean Skitter yet again having a nightmare of a race, and the 13 car of Sean Skitter not going to be a happy camper on his drive, and not quite how he wanted his round one for 2026 to go. Rich Van Eed and Simon Kusat once again nose to tail on one another, and Richard looks for the inside line, no room to get on by. Simon waits and bides his time at the moment, looking to see where can he launch on by, where can he find that little bit of grip. It is going to be Richard hard on the brakes, tries to swing it in. Simon says no thank you. He's going to hold the inside line through the left-hander and try and keep it as tight as possible early on the power to get that big Bentley to work out in his favor. And Christoph Peterson now onto the back of Martin Spritzer, the track tool team, going and changing things out a little bit, and they will be seeing what they can do. It's always interesting, the track tool team going and sporting different brands. The Milwaukee going and being on the likes of Martin Spritzer's car now instead of the DeVault that it was at one stage of the game. Jason Beam and Stephen Mullen James into the pits, so they are reacting to Christoph Peterson starting to make up some run through the order. This is going to be a wild one. So Ricky down in third place of the golds has got Calgero a long way up the road, and Rich Van Eed, who holds on to the lead of our gold division. He continues to keep moving forward. So Jason Beef, Stephen Milana James, Simon Kusat pulls into the pits. Rodeo, along with the likes of Freddie Morelli, Arul Jar decides he's going to keep pushing that little bit more. He's had a rough start to the race, now hoping to make it work. Christoph Peterson cruises up into 6th position with Martin Spritzer keeping on close by. Darius into 8th. Jason Farmer hoping to get that little bit of a run, sees the likes of Stephen Milana James, and Jason Beam has gotten out ahead of him. It has all gone wrong for Jason Farmer, who thought the undercut will work out in his favor. He has now been caught up and will have to push a little bit more. He does have his teammate behind him though, that's trying to give him a little bit of a helping hand, and that is not Ulrich Diaga. That is in the car behind him. That Rune Heineke that is going and chasing him down. So Heineke hoping to make it work out in his favor. Jason Farmer onto the back of Stephen Milana James, now trying to really dial up the wick and see where it goes. Question is now Christoph Peterson, who is incredibly close to Arul Jar, 5 seconds adrift from him. Ernest Limburgs, Rafa de Sousa and Maeth Musa are in a world of problems right now if they want to try and hold on to the top 3 for their class. Rich Van Eed has got a good little bit of room before he gets chased down by Ricky a little bit further down in 12th, who is 9 seconds off the back of Jason's Farmer, who is right on the back of Stephen Milana James. The 13 car into the wall, that is Sean Skitter yet again having a nightmare scenario. The little Honda going and kicking out and becoming a bucking Bronco. Unfortunately, not having a good time out there. Richard Van Eed in 4th position, now into the pits. Will he come out ahead of Ricky? Well, only time will tell, but our front 3 of our Platinums are close to one another. The question is, have they got enough room to go and prevent Christoph Peterson from taking a victory here? He's gotten the fastest lap back from Ernest Limburgs and will keep on the chase to see where it works out. Jason Farmer trying to make his way through, hoping to really dial up the wick at the moment and see where exactly can he get the run on the rest of the field. So Milestone, unfortunately, out of the race. And Chris Wall out of the race. A couple of drivers who had to retire due to mechanical failures. And that has gone and put them to the grandstands, busy cheering on their friends and teammates as Darius going up on the inside of Mon Spritzer, tries to battle back, sweeps across the nose, and that is all she wrote as Darius keeps the power down, wanting to just do everything he can to battle his way through. As we take a look at Mon Spritzer, as we jump on board with him, and we can just see the back of Darius's car starting to gallop away from Martin, who wants to keep it clean. He still needs to do his final pit stop. He's currently holding on to second place in the Platinum Division. And those tires starting to sound very, very worn out underneath him. And as he fights to get some grip. David Young onto the back of Nick Neville as to try and continue on their charge. They got Andre Sorodio and Aaron Shergill going and chasing him. And this is going to be an interesting one. Nick Neville hoping that he can get just enough drive to Freddie Morelli, who is having a bit of a tough time out there. The Wise Racing Los Pontos Hermanos team now going and dealing with Nick Neville, the Silver Bullet Racing, along with David Young on the back of him as well. Sorodio of Project Vapor also continues to hold on the charge. Maith Musa into the pits, Arul Jar into the pits. Peterson clears on by. He clears Arul Jar. Has he cleared Musa? Yes, he has. And now has got a 56-second deficit to Rafa Sosa and Ernest Limburgs. Now on a pit stop, looking at it, a drive down pit lane is about 27.4 seconds loss. Stopped in the box, putting fuel in tires, you're looking at 32.9 seconds to 32.3 at best. But the question comes in, are they going to be in enough room for it? Now, Ernest Limburgs, with 26 minutes to go, has to crucially think of the plan here of what he's going to do. Same as Martin Spritzer at the moment, who is away from Arul Jar, who's pulled into the pits and is so far the only driver that needs to go into the pit. So we got three drivers, Limburg, Sosa, and Spritzer, needing to pit. And as I say that, Sosa says, listen, you're a liar, and I've just got myself into the pits. So, Limburgs has got the pressure. When does he pit? With a hard charge of Christoph Peterson. Now let's take a look at who are the hardest chargers here racing today, and that is currently Martin Spritzer, up 28 places from where he started, or 27 now. Started in 33rd and went all the way up to 6th, going a little bit further down as Stephen Malone James is going to have a hunt at him and looking to clear on by. For those that have done pit stops and have charged up, Nick Neville is one of our hardest chargers here today, with 20 positions gained. Started in 39th. He is currently in 19th position. He is absolutely hammered down to make it work out in his favor. Question is, can he keep that little bit more momentum? Can he push that a little bit harder? Is it going to be enough to see how it's going to work out? Sosa losing out the drive to Peterson, and here comes Darius, looking to take the inside through Magata Beckett, who's brave on the brakes here. Whoa, side by side. And it is going to be Sosa who holds on. He does take a little bit to it curb. He understeers a bit. Forces Darius to lift off that little bit more. And now down the hanger straight. Who's going to have the advantage? As it does look like Darius has got the drive to keep on the back of Sosa, who really kept his foot in and he really kept the power on. And what a move to get out the pits to hold on to third place. And now Darius hunting it down from fourth. David Young and Aaron Shergill going and pushing as hard as they can. And it does look like Aaron is not going to be backing down at the moment. Seeing David right on the back of him, going and really fighting as they see Andre Sorodio just up the road as well. So it's all to play for into the dying runs. But the question is, Limburg's in the pits. Is it enough? Here comes Peterson as he charges his way through. Has Limburg's got enough of space to be able to get back out onto the circuit ahead of Christoph Peterson, who holds the fastest lap time of the race to kick off the season? But if he gets caught up in traffic, that can swing the entire championship in the favor of Ernest Limburgs as he boots his way through. Here's the pits. Is it going to be enough? Limburgs is still stationary, dropped off the racks. He's going. Can he make it work? Peterson swings the nose round. Peterson into the lead, and it was Limburg so close to be able to get out ahead, but he has got nearly a 3-second deficit to hunt down his own teammate Christoph Peterson up the road from him. Rafa de Souza into third, keeps the distance away from Darius, who's got Jason Beam and Stephen Milano James all over the back of him. Jason Farmer tries to hang on the back with Ricky Buckler, who currently holds on to the lead of our gold division. Maeth Musa holds on to the top 10. Neil Cabal holds on to second of our platinum division. He's behind Martin Spritzer, who's gone into the pits. And I do think it's going to be a change. Yep, Neil will be taking over the lead of the race. Our timing tower will be picking up shortly as Jason Beam, up on the inside of Stephen Milano James, trying to get the drive. Michael Castro with the first drive-through penalty of the season and of the year is now going to be kicking himself as he'll be falling our 11th position. And that top 10 hopes is absolutely dashed against this cliffside. Neil Cabal now leads out the likes of our platinum. Daniel Mutzmer, Simon Kussat, Paul Finter all keep on the charge. Ricky Beckler and Richard Van Heed hold on to the top two with Lewis Knight in third for the golds. And it's Peterson, Limburgs, Sosa who currently hold on for our diamonds as the race continues into the dying minutes of it. 21 minutes to go. Each of the drivers feeling the pressure, and thankfully the track has cooled down, folks. I can report it's cooled down. You're definitely going to feel it. There's no sarcasm in the voice here. It's 39 degrees. It is really hectic and definitely not what you want to have, especially in that final push through it all. Everyone's changed tires. Everyone has gone for fuel, tires and out to see where they go and how much is it going to affect the race at the moment. It's a new fresh set of boots on these cars. They have got a lighter tank from when they started, and now they have to dig that little bit deeper to see where on earth is it going to tie in. Jason Bean with Jason Farmer chasing him down. Darius has got Stephen Milano James on the back of him as they trying to catch up to the likes of Raf up ahead, and Rafa is not going to make it any easier. Gentle on the brakes, 5 seconds off the back of Limburgs. Limburgs 2.8 seconds off the back of Peterson, so he has closed up a little bit of room there, but just not enough to make it work. The two South Africans, Richard Van Heed and Paul Venter, two of the most stubborn people I can guarantee you would ever meet, now meet each other on the grid. And this is going to be a tough one because Paul Venter and Richard Van Heed both want the same piece of tarmac, both will go for the same piece of tarmac, and both will go and get their shoulders out to do so. Darius losing out of position to Stephen Milano James, so Darius now having to recover. Jason Farmer onto the back of Jason Beam, but here comes the likes of Darius as Stephen guards the inside. He moves back to center. Darius is going to sling it around the outside. A little bit of argy-bargy contact between them. No harm, no foul. A little bit of sharing of paint, but Darius continues to try and hold on to the apex, seeing how shallow he can make the corner to go and get ahead of Stephen Milano James, who just got around him. And Jason Beam and Jason Farmer have been brought a little bit closer into the mix as they got Patrick Biles that is one of the back markers up ahead of them, they'll be casting his eyes to the mirrors and saying, right, what do I need to do to avoid you guys wrecking my race? So, it's all on the cards now. Who has got the drive? Who has got the endurance to push it that little bit further into the race? And who is going to keep it going? Chris Heineke going and gaining a position over Ulrich Diago, fellow teammate. The Griffin Sim Racing team having a little bit of a go at one another, but it looks like Diago just doesn't have the grunt underneath him to fight it out. And there wasn't much of a battle between the two of them. A little bit of an understanding, but it was a position you had to have made the pass stick to make it work nonetheless. So it's good to see drivers going and find their way through. Michael Castro, though, hasn't served that drive-through penalty, and time's running out. He's got 3 laps that he needs to serve that in. Otherwise, he will be black flagged. He will get that frilled black flag coming out saying, goodbye, thanks very much, nice joining us, and you are disqualified. So he's got to be very, very careful, running it right to the end, trying to just get every little second possible out of it. Nick Neville getting overtaken by Sorodio, who was on the look to try and get round, and now that's brought Aaron into the fray as well. Aaron's looking to try and go late on the brakes. He's got it around the outside. Couldn't quite get it, but definitely went for the hard push there as he tried his best. Jason Farmer, oh, and Jason Beam. A little bit of a moment between the two of them. Farmer held the inside line, stopped the car dead for Jason Beam, who couldn't get back to the apex. The two of them at an absolute standstill, as we do see Darius and Stephen Milano James clear Patrick Biles, but this is going to be close. Oh, my hat. It is Jason Beam continuing on the charge to try get ahead of Farmer, and both of them taking extreme risks at the moment to get past one another. This is turned into an absolute fight as we go on board. Jason Beams, Aston Martin, and we see Castro into the pits to serve the drive-through. Patrick minds out the way and going and saying, listen, I'm not going to hold you guys up. It's time for me to enjoy my race, and you can keep to your own. And well done. Got to give it up to Patrick for having the knowledge of the circuit, knowledge of the drivers, knowing where it's safe to mind out the way. It isn't a rule here in ERA that you must just mind out the way of the drivers, but it is a gentleman courtesy, and I do want to tip the hat to Patrick on that one. Well done, my friend. Well done. As we are seeing the cars fight it out. Another good one, Cedric Muir trying to keep ahead as Lucas Collab running in a little too deep. The 787 car going and sends it in, trying to get on by very, very quickly. And that's Stephen Milano James not wanting to be fouled up as Lucas Collab says, listen, I'm not going to hold you up, but you need to pull me a bit closer to Cedric Muir. Aaron Schegel and Nick Neville continue on their brawl a little bit further down in the field as they continue for 19th and the likes of 20th position, chasing down Andres Rodio, second up the road in 18th, with David Young in 21st, hot on the heels, chasing him down. Lucas Collab, though, oh, into the dirt, and it does look like Cedric as well. Both coming to blows, both landing in the dirt, and both having a moment. So let's quickly take a look. Steve Milano James gets on by, and it is a big send. He missed his brake marker. Cedric gets fouled up. He closes up on the door, and there is no room to go. And oh no, Darius trying to put his nose in on the inside to make it 3 wide, and that was all she wrote there. Between the lot of them, Lucas Collab gets clipped into Cedric Muir, and it's turned round on note. But I do want to point out that likes of Lucas Collab reversed back into the dirt to get off the circuit, and once again track awareness coming in and a little bit of veteran knowledge to pull himself off the track surface to get him away from the racing line or any sort of line, and will then restart and go. But that's not how he wanted to have it work out in his favor, and has caught up into a little bit of a mess. So Christoph Peterson currently holds on to the lead of our Diamonds with 14 minutes to go. Excuse me on that one. Innocent Boogs in second place. Rafa Souza in third will be continuing on his drive. First of our gold division, which is a big surprise here, Ricky Beckler is going and running in 8th position, first in his class. And then when we start going down to 10th behind Mahath Musa, this is Neil Cabal, who holds on to the lead of the Platinum, with Daniel Mutsuma right behind him in second and Simon Kusat in third. Second of the gold division is Rich Van Heed, who is keeping ahead of Lewis Knight, who has got Paul Fenter separating the two of them, and now looking to keep on the charge. So a couple of drivers a bit out of place. 40 cars started, 36 remain. Still tons and tons of racing for our drivers, and we are getting a shout out though to the likes of Rolotsky for the hard work that he's been doing. So good to see it out there, and a good bit of support coming in for Christoph Rolotsky, the Los Pantos Hermanos machine that is still circulating. They've got to give him a little bit of love. I mean, come on. You got the fans on the grandstand saying Rolotsky. They shouting out for him. Well, a real job. Nick Neville having a go at one another, trying to see where exactly are they pushing to get the momentum. Where exactly are they trying to stay in for the fight? There is still so much on the cards from each and every one of these drivers as they step up the pace, trying to see where exactly they can get the hammer down. How far are they willing to go, and see where it's all going to tie into. I mean, these are tough times for our drivers into the final minutes of the race. 12 minutes left, and it's still quite wild out there. Mahath Musa finally catches up to Ricky at the moment. He's brought the likes of Neil Cabal a bit closer as well. And Musa will want to clear Ricky as quick as he can to step in the focus towards Darius, who is 13, heading 14 seconds up the road, trying to get away from the run. Real Jar gets ahead of Nick Neville as they make their way through. Real Jar not having the best of races from the start, and he has only climbed up one position by the end of it. Nick Neville's been up 18 positions thus far from where he started. 39th, he is now into 21, and he is part of our hardest chargers. But the hardest charger that is out on the circuit after the pit stops, and this one does get the award for it, and that is going to be Simon Kusat, 20 positions up from where he started. He started 32nd, he is up to 12th, he is still keeping on going. But the last of the runners that has landed up with the most hurts is Sean Skitter. He's spun out multiple times. He has been crashed into by Christian Fengler, and unfortunately hasn't had an easy time. But I do want to take my hats off, because the ethos says if you see the green, you got to see the checkered, and that is what he's doing out there. As Mahath Musa clears Ricky, and who doesn't want to put up too much of a fight there. Neil's going to be the next one to hunt for the inside line, and it is an overtake for Neil, as we do see Ricky trying to fight back and do what he can. This is 3 different classes, so no matter what happens, it doesn't affect where they are finishing, because we finish by class, not by overall. And for Ricky to give that little bit of room to Neil and now utilize a toe means that he can get a little bit more distance to the likes of Richard Van Heed in second place in his own division. For Neil, it's that little bit of room and a car in between himself and Daniel Mutsuma that continues on that pace. A little bit further down, it's David Young and Nick Neville. They are incredibly close to one another. These two continue to brawl it out, and Rune Heineke along with Lucas Kolob at the moment having a go, and Lucas out there in the AMG Mercedes GT3 Evo is battling against the Ferrari 296 that is out really giving it horns at the moment. The V6 turbocharged up against the big brawling Mercedes V8, as you can see the top end of the V8 comes in. That torque out of the corners just is a lot, but the slipstream, come on English, work on me, and that sees them going. Dev Young, Nick Neville And Rulja try and make up a bit of room. Aaron trying to see where he can go at the moment to step up the pace. Late on the brakes, huge lunge for the likes of Rulja. Could not get the stop. Had to try and throw it back. And now see where it all turns out from here. It is a monumental drive on all their parts to see who can get the climb up through the order. Ruben Heineke and Lucas Collib continue on the charge, and Lucas throws the car in left and right with Heineke all over the back of him, trying to close up the distance. But let's talk about what's happening at the front here, because it is Christoph Peterson leading, but take a look in the very, very same shot. It's Ernest Limburgs that's having a go at him, wanting that second place, wanting to get into first, and wanting to walk away with the victory. Christoph Peterson has got multiple crowns to his name, but will this be the season? Will this be the time that he will lose the crowd? Well, Ernest Limburgs at the moment is wanting that to happen. He hasn't got the fastest lap time of the race, but he is pushing harder and harder to get that get the winning position. Now, to tell you the difference in their fastest lap time, it's a 1:58.365 for Christoph Peterson, while Ernest Limburgs did a 1:58.435 on his time. Last lap time, however, Christoph Peterson a 1:59.2, while Limburgs did a 1:58.5 in for the last lap time. So let's see if it's going to work out. They're both in the 59s now, with a slight increase for Christoph Peterson doing a 1:59.1. So he's able to move a little bit of a room away from Ernest Limburgs' 1:59.255. It is still on the money. It's still hammering on. It's still the pace that is needed to go for our top of the diamonds that continue on their charge. Aaron Sugar and Arul Jha once again finding it out. Two very different classes, platinum and gold, having a go at one another. But gotta say, for any gold division, you want to pass the platinums, you want to pass the diamonds, you want to be promoted up. And the best way of doing it, to really strike fear into the hearts of your competitors, is taking them on the circuit, going and showing that you're no slouch and they need to up their game. The new names to the grid are starting to give the veterans a run for their money. At the moment, Ernest Limburgs looking a bit complacent behind Christoph Peterson at the moment with 6 minutes to go. Will he go and lick it and send it? Will he go for the pass? I mean, this is where the question comes in. When you've got teammates of Fear the Bones drivers, Christoph Peterson and likes of Ernest Limburgs to one another, are they going to have enough to work with one another? Or are we going to see that, I can get you. You are not as invincible as you would like people to think. Michael Castro onto the back of Paul Fenter, getting a little bit of a twitch on the exit, and now just trying to make his way under braking. So there's Pantos Hermanos trying to bring the Cretaceous period to Paul the Wolf Fenter's door and say, how's it, buddy? The Diamond Division driver that got a drive-through penalty up into 16th position. Now trying to make a little bit of headway to see where he can make up some ground. He's got Freddie Morelli and Andres Herodio trying to catch up to him as well. And Paul Fenter, who is way out from getting into the podium at the moment, has to clear the likes of Lewis Knight, Richard van Heerd before he can even go on the attack of Simon Kutzer and Daniel Mutzma after a huge mistake into the corner where he was nose first into the barrier and lost out that pole position that he was so holding on to. Cedric Muir into the pit lane, serving a drive-through penalty. Not what you want to have, and unfortunately the frustration will build up now. Sean Skitter a little too far back to capitalize on it, so it is going to be Cedric Muir saying thank you very much. Got my drive through, and we'll be carrying on. Christopher Lotsky, last of our runners, is still keeping his head squared in to see this to the very, very end. and to the bitter end it will. Oh, as we do see Jonas Limburgs was right on the back of Peterson, over-rotated the car, he spun it round as he lost it all. He is trying to get himself going, but has left himself within striking range of Rafa Sosa. Our Brazilian now looks to keep the pressure on and has an opportunity to go and squirrel a few points away by going after second. So Limburgs needs to dial up the wick. The pressure got to him. He faded, he ducked, he dived, and unfortunately it connected and he went down for the count. He unfortunately spun round and lost that run at first place. And with 3 minutes to go, I don't think, unless Christoph Peterson runs into a problem, I don't think he will be touched by the rest of the field and will take a victory here in 2026. The first victory of the ERA Sunday Championship for 2026 as Ruud Heineke going and chasing down Lucas Kyalami. Does open up for Stephen Milano James to get on by, hoping to see if he can get a little bit more of a run up against him. Michael Castro onto the back of Paul Fenter as we do see a long line of cars behind Paul Fenter. That's Freddie Morelli, Andres Rodio, Aaron Schigel, along with Arul Jar, Nick Neville, David Young, all joining into that party as well and keeping themselves right and honest with one another and see who it can go. Neil, the American, chasing down the South African, Mayev Musa, who can't break away from the Mustang right now. The full cylinder having to really think about its life choices right now as a galloping stallion continues to make some headway. Paul Fenter guards the inside line through the right, left-hander, loose out through the right. Michael Castro says thank you very much, Freddie Morelli. And it looks like Andres Rodia, Shergel, what on earth happened as Paul Fenter lost a lot of time there. He was able to rejoin, but man oh man, he lost an ample amount of time to the likes of Michael Castro. And Freddie Morelli now up his gearbox, really pushing as hard as they can. Fun fact about a GT3 car, due to how the weight is put in, and we just got confirmation from Jim. So quick one, if you ever look at a GT3 car, the gearbox is actually in the back of the car, it's not in the front, even though the engine's in the front. Just a fun fact and a good to know, and that is how they do weight distribution with big mechanical parts in these GT3s. That being said, Paul Fenter, on the other hand, is starting to add a lot of mechanical grip to his car to try and keep ahead of Freddie Morelli, Andres Rodio, Aaron Shergill, and along with Arul Jar right on the back of him, pushing as hard as they can. We did hear our leader is on the final lap. So Christoph Peterson has got 43 seconds left. He has got the fastest lap time of the race. He was under pressure from his own teammate, Ernest Limburgs, who was really going and cruising around him in second. And Limburgs has opened up the gap to Rafa Sosa at the moment. And what a drive it has been for these three. Stephen Milano James, can't count him out. He has been putting in a phenomenal show. Jason Farmer, Jason Beam, Darius still puts in the fight. He's got Mayev Musa and Neil Kabal on the back of him. Ricky Beckler is one to keep an eye out for. Once again, a gold driver chasing down the pack, and he has definitely put his name into the fight. Rich Van Eed and Lewis Knight as well taking the fight to the Platinums and saying, listen, we're coming for you. Freddie Morelli and Paul Fenter continue on their charge, trying to make their way through and with no room to play with, but coming towards the line, folks, nice and gently to kick off 2026. Our multiple-time champion, our multiple absolute lives that he has, Christoph Peterson, will take the first checkered flag of 2026 for the ERA Sunday Championship and takes the fastest lap of the race Ernest Lindbergs will take second place behind his teammate Rafa Sosa. Fought his way through to get third. Steven Milano James hangs on for fourth. Jason Farmer will get fifth place ahead of Jason Beam. Darius will come across the line in seventh. Eighth place, Mayath Musa fights out against Neil Kamal. Musa will be right onto the back, finishing in 8th place in the diamond class. And overall, Neil Cabal on his debut outing, going and taking a 9th position and a victory in the platinum class. Ricky Blackler going and taking victory in the gold on his debut outing. Daniel Mutsuma, 2nd place in the platinum, along with Simon Kusat taking 3rd in the platinum, as he is chased down by 2nd place in gold. Richard Van Heed and Lewis Knight will hang on to 3rd place at the end for the gold division, as the rest of the field come on by. Michael Castro, Paul Fenter, Freddie Morelli, Aaron Shergill, Andre Sorodio, Rule John, Nick Neville, David Young, Sebastian Lucasen, Federico Calgero, Martin Spritzer, Flo Scub, Chris Heineke, along with Ulrich Diaga, Bron Cox, Christian Fingler, Patrick Biles, Lucas Collab, Ruben Heineke, Cedric Muir, Sean Skitter, and Christoph Rolotsky will be finishing up at the back end of the field, but is finishing up the race, ending our 36-car grid, 40 starters. Christoph might not have had it in the bag, but he saw it through to the end. Well done. Oh man, oh man. Woo! Now that was wild. That was wild, folks, and got to catch a second to breathe. It was a wild, wild race of note, and we got to see some incredible racing for round 1 here at Silverstone for the ERA Sunday Championship. And man, oh man, did it just go off the rails. Did it become an incredible amount of fun. But it is Christoph Peterson who took the victory yet again and looks to extend that crown's legacy a little bit further into the world of racing. Now, the question is, how long can he keep that going for? As we got to see, quite a few drivers are coming up and they are ready to take on the fight. And this is going to be, if this is the kickoff, we're about to see a whole lot more coming into it, a whole lot more drive, and where we're going to see the racing as we go on here at ERA. With that being said, let's head down to the track and get some of the race highlights as we quickly move that ERA out of the way. And we look forward to having a chat to a couple of the drivers in the commentary box to come and have a bit of a good talk with us after what a incredible race nonetheless. So, that being said, we're getting everyone pulled in. I want to just ensure we give a little bit of time to the drivers as they start making their way into the commentary box here. And we can get all the winners of the different classes to come and have a chat to us. And we're going to actually kick it off with our gold division. 3rd place in the gold division, out there having a bit of fun. Let's have a chat to Lewis Knight. So let's get mic'd up. Lewis Knight, welcome to the commentary box. 3rd place in the gold division, chasing down Rich Van Heed. But what a way to kick off the 2026 season.
Yeah, I'm knackered. I'm knackered. That was harder than I thought it was going to be.
We saw the track was insanely hot. 40 degrees out there. From your point of view, being in the car, taking a look at the track temperature, what was the game plan? What was running through your head, knowing that, okay, this is what we've got?
It was try and keep the tires alive as long as I could. Honestly, if I could, like, the ones I ran in quali, put them straight back out, tried to get them to burn down as much as I could, and then swapped over about half. I think I was just over halfway in before I grabbed that second set. And just, yeah, tried to keep it on the track as best I could. No limit slides. Yeah.
And take us through the entire race. I mean, if you had to pick a moment for yourself, what would be the best moment that if you could frame it, that would be it? Because it looked like it was chaos at the start, it then went quiet, and then all of a sudden, when the pit stops came around, it was back to brawling with one another.
Yeah, I mean, definitely avoiding a lot of those multi-cars. I think there was 2 I managed to just get around. Maybe one a bit later on I also managed to avoid seeing all those. I was really looking forward to a fight with Venter because I saw I was getting on him lap by lap, and then he let me go. So I was really looking forward to fighting that man. Sad I didn't get to him, but it was fun. I don't really have any moments that I was particularly proud of.
Well, it was still fantastic to see you out on the track. Now, with this new season, you're out there in the gold, you got third place, you're feeling confident for this season, you're feeling confident for 2026 to go after the crown.
It's going to be difficult with the likes of Beklar at the front. I mean, that man was an absolute rocket ship. But I'm willing to go. We'll see how far I can take it down to the wire. If I can take it down to the last round with him, then I'll take it down to the last round. If not, I'll see where I can go from here.
Well, we've seen you in previous seasons kick, bite, scratch, and really go down to the wire, down to the last lap to get it done. But before I let you go, to cool down here at Silverstone, anything you want to say to all the admins out in the background, to the stewards, and most importantly, to everyone out in the virtual grandstands, to the drivers and the teams joining us here on the grid?
So, Era guys, thank you for hosting this. It's obviously a gem. Stewards, you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. There was a lot going on from both servers, I believe. Guys that are watching, thank you so much for watching it, because obviously we want you guys to enjoy it as much as we can. And obviously, Stephen, thank you for coming back for another season. It's always much appreciated.
Absolutely wonderful. Lewis 9, everybody, the night grinder himself, now looking to grind for the victory. Absolutely wonderful stuff. That being said, let's bring in our Diamond Division, and we're going to be kicking off with second place in our Diamond Division. Let's bring up Ernest Limburgs to come and have a chat to us after a wonderful, wonderful drive. Unfortunately, I mean, Ernest, welcome to the commentary box. First of all, what a drive on your part. The first half, you were out there. I mean, how was it in the Honda battling out against some of the more picked cars like the AMGs, the BMWs, the Nissan GTRs, and the Aston Martins?
Yeah, that's I never thought I would hear that, you know, having a lot of AMGs on the track, but yeah, it was pretty dreadful on track today. It was super hot. The first half of the race was just absolutely bonkers. The tires did not have any grip. I started on new tires, but they did not feel new whatsoever. I felt like I was on ice the whole race. You could probably even see it when in Abbey and some other fast corners. There's just no rear grip whatsoever, so I was struggling the entire race.
And let's talk about your pit strategy, because you were one of the last cars to go into the pits. What was the game plan there to stretch it out so long into the race, while the rest of the field were pitting a bit earlier? We saw Jason Farmer in the same class that you pit way earlier, then Christoph pulled into the pits, but you went the extra distance. What was the game plan?
Yeah, so as you know, we do the Thursday races, and I actually tried out starting the race on used tires, and that was just absolutely horrible. And so I decided that for the sake of my sanity and to keep up my I don't know, confidence, I decided to start on the new tires, and my strategy was to just go as long as possible on the new tires, and then just leave as little time possible for the used tires. In the end, as it turns out, the second stint was, I don't know if the track was bugged or whatever it was, but the used tires actually were a lot grippier than the new tires. So if I had kept it together, it was absolutely the better call in my opinion. But yeah, and that's pretty much my strategy.
Well, it was still phenomenal to see you going and putting in a lot of hard work out there. The last lap, you were all over the back of Christoph, and it looked like a proper mission. What was going on through your head there? How were you finding the pace on the tires so far worn out and still managing the traffic to be right up against that bumper? We know that it landed up with a spin, but before that was just great racing.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting super excited to actually have an on-track battle with Peterson once again, because I know he's a really clean racer, and it's always fun to race against friends and stuff. But yeah, and I don't know if it's just Silverstone or whatever it was, or maybe the Mercedes was just so massive, but I could not see a thing behind that thing. And yeah, at the end, like I couldn't even think about overtaking. It was just okay, do not oversteer here. Okay, didn't oversteer. Okay, let's not oversteer here again. So it was mostly just a fight with my own car rather than a fight with Peterson. And obviously he held it together very nicely. He didn't have any issues. I mean, he had issues, but he didn't show them. So very well driven on his part.
Are you feeling confident to take away the crown this year? You getting far closer to anyone that has. Do you think that this season is going to be the season that we will have Ernest Lindbergh's taking the crown?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be a racing driver if I if I didn't say I was confident, and especially since Silverstone isn't one of my best tracks. I mean, I pulled up to the practice week without even knowing how to do the track, uh, almost. So I think on some tracks I'm a bit stronger and some a bit weaker, but overall I think I can do it. We'll see, of course. Souza is here as well now, so it's gonna be an interesting championship for sure, even if I'm not the one winning it.
Absolutely. Well done once again. And before I let you go, anyone you go and give a shout out to in the grandstands and the cars and the teams out there here at ERA?
Yeah, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Hopefully, this year will be a lot more. How do you say? I will have a lot more participants this year, maybe for maybe the last year of ACC. But yeah, I also want to thank all the fans that are watching, and of course, I want to congratulate Peterson on the win and Souza on his comeback. And well done on the podium.
Absolutely wonderful. Christoph Peterson may have gotten ahead of you this time, but I do think we're going to be saying Ernest Lundbergs takes the victory here at ERA. It's coming. It's coming. Well, with that being said, we have got two drivers that we want to talk to, but the first one I do want to talk to is a brand new driver to the server and got his victory in the gold. Let's have a chat to Ricky. So, as again, Ricky mic'd up. Ricky, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Yeah,
Ricky,
can you hear
welcome.
me as well?
Welcome. My heavens. First of all, qualifying time. Where on earth did you get that speed? Because I was taking a look down in the pits and there was a few people that fell off their camping chairs watching you put in those times.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a really good time. They practiced a lot as well for this race. I got even promoted when they saw the times I was driving on this track, because last season I was like Iron champion. So, and now today I won gold. So yeah, where I found the times, yeah, just a lot of practice. I had to put a lot of practice in it, and yeah, practice pays off, they say.
And how are you finding the transition from the iron side, I mean, our server 2 into our server 1, getting to mix wheels against the gold, the platinum, and our diamond division drivers that can really go and have a proper wheel to wheel with you, but also just keeping up the speed and keeping up the endurance for our race?
To be fair, I like it a lot. It's like the driving in the races is it's like completely different. To be fair, like in the server 2, sometimes you came in some issues or something. Today I haven't had any issues or any crazy things. I did my race. It was a really nice race as well, at least because you have some really fast drivers in it. So you can learn a lot of other drivers as well, and that's why I am here. To be fair, to learn, to get even better. If yeah. So yeah, no, I'm enjoying it a lot because it means when you go to a higher division, you have to train more, you have to put more effort in it than you did already, and yeah, you will grow up and you will get better.
And what's your game plan for this season? Season 17, you've gotten a victory underneath your belt. You're into a new server. You're into a new class. You've gone and woken up a lot of drivers that, hey, listen, there is a lot coming from below that is going to be chasing down. What is your plan?
To be fair, I don't have any plan for this season. This season for me is in the new server is just to take as much confidence and all that's possible. Get some good results as well. Sad enough, I think next weekend I can be there either because yeah, work. There's some other work to do as well. But the next race Suzuka I will be there for sure. And this season I just gonna see as a learning season in gold and maybe if I get some good times and some nice stints to get to platinum, you never know. But yeah, we will see what's gonna bring this season as well, of course.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you fighting it out. And before I let you go, anything you want to say to anyone out there in the virtual grandstands, anyone of our drivers, admins, teams, and those that are cheering on at home?
Well, I want to do one massive shout to Chris for promoting me to the server one. He was the guy that came up with the idea to do it. So yeah, thank you, Chris, for doing that, and as well to my team, Vanilla Racing. With him for the second season now, and it's always really nice to be with them. So massive thanks to them as well, and to the whole community actually, because they are really nice people.
Absolutely wonderful to have you in the box. And Ricky, keep on going. You are making your name big here in Server 1 and fighting out against some of the fastest in the world. Ricky Blacklock going and taking the winner of our gold division, doing an absolute great job. But that being said, let's all rise because we are in the presence of royalty, a multi-champion that still holds the crown, but is generous by gracing us with his presence here in the commentary box. Christoph Peterson. Christoph, welcome to the commentary box in 2026. How are you feeling with a victory underneath your belt and the fastest lap as well?
Happy New Year. I feel great, of course. Like, my mood was kind of like, it was really great before the race because I saw like so many people are still here racing. We had, I think, even more signups than last season. And like with the narrative of ACC dying and stuff, like I was so happy that the people are still here and are still racing. Like I really love to see it. And then in quali, it was very odd. Like Silverstone has this bug where there are sometimes sessions that have weirdly low grip. And I think this happened this time because I saw several people struggle a lot, and I also completely bottled my quali laps. Like it was luckily enough for still P3. But yeah, in the race, like it was so much back and forth, and until after the pit stops, I didn't even know where I would come out because I lost, like I overshot the pit box and stuff. Like there was so much happening.
And how does it feel to be back in the Sunday Championship? You've got an even bigger target on you this time. You got chased down by your own teammate to the absolute tense of what you can do. I think he was reading the label off the back of your overalls at one point. I mean, how was it out there coming back, new year, new season, new names, and just seeing all the cars? I mean, we had Jason Beam coming at you, going and trying to see if he can slot himself in between yourself, Ernest Lindbergh's, Jason Farmer, and the rest.
I mean, the good thing with Jason was that, or like the good thing for me, not good for him, I think he doesn't know that you have to brake boost the Aston yet because he's coming from the F1 games and doesn't have that much experience with GT cars. So he kind of lost out at the start, and the Aston is like generally a bit slow at the start, so I got some luck there. But yeah, Silverstone, the slipstream is like super effective when you're in there. It really glues the cars together, but at the same time, you're not seeing anything if you get too close. Like you can't see the corners, and I think that also was very difficult for Ernest once we like kind of accidentally switched positions after his mistake in the first stint. And yeah, I was happy that I could spend the rest of the race in front, but the tires were also like just wearing so much. You had this like very narrow window where you could do great lap times, and then it was just all gone again. That's why I did a short first stint with the worn tires and then went on new ones for a bit longer.
Well,
But yeah, I really have to say, like, it was really exciting. It was really, really good race for me.
Well, it was still a phenomenal, phenomenal race. If you're looking at the season, the new names, the new cars, the different choices of cars, your different choice of car being a very big one, what's your predictions for the ERA season 17 for 2026?
I mean, the way it went today, I can really say I have no idea who will win this season, because I don't know how good I will do on the other tracks, because Silverstone is one of my strongest tracks in the game, and I could make the Mercedes work here. I'm still a little bit off the Honda, but I finally could make it work. Like I don't know if you remember, but I tried last year in race phase one season and wasn't that happy with it, and then just kind of put it into the garage for a long time, and now went back to it. It's a really hard car to drive. It's really not that easy and doesn't suit like my Honda driving style a lot. So I had to kind of rewire my brain. But yeah, it's really nice to see Rafa back. You don't know him yet, I think. He was he was basically the fastest guy in the league when I joined, and took a break after season 10. And he's basically like within era, he's a legend. Like it's great to have him back, and I think he'll be up there the whole season. He has like thousands of hours in this car alone, and he's really like, once the rust is completely gone, I think he'll pull insane lap times. And of course, Ernest is like also on top, second season in the Honda now, I think, for him. So he's used to the car. Silverstone is not one of his best tracks, so I think next week we'll see him at his best again. So it's gonna be exciting, and there are also like several guys waiting behind us, like my teammates Darius and Skitty and Steven Molano, James, Jason Beam, the new guy. There's so many guys that can get podiums. So I'm really excited, especially now that the success penalties come into play, like how that goes.
It's going to be a wild season, that is for sure. And it's going to be a great one. Before I let you go, any shout outs you want to give out to before I let you go to cool down after a blazing day here at Silverstone and the end of round 1 of the ERA Sunday Championship?
Yeah, I mean, mainly I want to say, I've already said it in text form in the server 1 chat, but I mainly want to say, like, everyone, don't get frustrated. There were a lot of accidents in this race. I got told, like, by my teammates during the early phase. It happens sometimes, but don't get frustrated. Put in your practice. It's gonna be fun again. Like, even if your race was bad, it's just one race. There's gonna be a next one and a next one and another one. Like, we have 7 races. There are gonna be good races for you. So stay with us. Stay with the community. We are all helping each other out, and we are all trying to make these races safe and clean and have fun together. So I hope we'll see as many people as now in the next race too.
I'm sure we will, because one thing about ERA, there is no quit when it comes to our drivers. Christoph Peterson, thank you so much for joining us here in the commentary, and well done once again on your victory. Well, folks, it has been an exciting one. It has been a lively one here at Silverstone. But we're going to say farewell to the beautiful track at Silverstone, and we look forward to the future. Next week, Sunday, we're going to be kicking off with our next bit of racing, and that is going to be on the 25th at Watkins Glen Round 2. We're going to go bowling at Watkins, folks, and that is one you don't want to miss. It's going to be an absolute banger of note. On Thursday, on the 22nd, we have a sprint race at Watkins Glen, so do go and join in on Thursday night. Come and have some fun. And on Saturday, 24th of June, we have the ERA Masters League Qualifier 3, so do get involved with that. If you are interested in all our racing and our teaching courses here at ERA, go down to the link below, go and join up with our Discord and enjoy the conversations to be had with everyone out there, as it is absolutely mental at the best of times, much like that opening. But folks, it has been an absolute wonderful time being on air yet again for 2026. It's been an honor to return to the microphone here at ERA and to be back on the mic for some more incredible racing and getting to join you guys out in the virtual grandstands. Thanks for putting up with me, and sorry for me having that hot dog. But we're looking forward to Watkins Glen a little bit later this week. Make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the bell notification icon. Let us know what you think about having the vertical along with the horizontal on your streaming, and we're going to be working on them to try and adjust, fix, fine-tune, and give you some of the best here in the world of ERA. My name is Stephen Koenig. I want to say thank you very much on an incredible run, and we'll see you next time. And like always, you can say it with me because I know you know it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.